Hey guys, it's Mario here, and in this video I wanted to talk to you a bit about how to start living a healthy lifestyle. And this is a question and a topic that I get asked a lot about, and I think it's the best question you can possibly ask yourself, because we can willpower our way through such hard things in our lives. We can go through incredible restrictions, crazy hard times, but it's not very sustainable. You guys seen this happen. I mean, a honeymoon period of a diet, 8 to 12 weeks, and then a lot of people start falling off track because that willpower no longer is sufficient enough to maintain the healthy habits, to maintain those decisions when things get hard, when the caloric deficit gets harder and harder. You get more hungry, you get more cravings, when business starts falling apart a little bit, when you realize how much actual work you need to put in, and then things get hard. And that's, at that point, it needs to be a lifestyle choice. It needs to be something that is sustainable. It needs to be something that is more automatic. Specifically with a healthy lifestyle, I want to focus on a technique that I first got inspired by, talk about, and first got discovered in a book called Influence by Robert Cialdini, where he talks about how to persuade other people to basically get compliance when it comes to sales or whatever it is, whether it's your business, whether it's your marketing or whatever it is. But we can use these techniques on ourselves. Why not persuade our own monkey brain to make it work for us, to make it work on our side instead of working against us, which is a lot of situations where we make poor decisions. Is basically our monkey brain is made the decision already, and now our prefrontal cortex no longer has the willpower to counteract the monkey, or I would say the elephant, because our prefrontal cortex is not as powerful as that primal brain that kind of goes toward pleasure against pain and kind of makes the decision that is very easy to conserve energy. So in this book, there's an experiment that is presented by Jonathan Friedman, Scott Fraser from 1966 that was published back in the day. And what they looked at, and it's a really cool story that I think a lot of you guys will be interested in. And basically what they did in this experiment is they walked door to door in California, and they asked a bunch of people, can they place a huge billboard about driving safety in their front yard? I mean, a huge billboard, and it showed people pictures of this, and a lot of people said no, right? Only about 17% people said yes. I mean, 83% said no, because just a huge, outrageous request. Some guy walks up to your house and says, hey, do you want to place this massive, ugly billboard in your front yard that's going to block your whole view and then destroy your yard? Sure. I mean, of course, people said no. But funny enough, in a different part of that experiment, about 76% of people said yes to the same request. And they just used one simple trick to get that compliance. And that same trick we use ourselves, on our own brain, to make us more compliant to healthy decisions. So what was that trick? Well, what they did in the second part of that experiment, and they actually approached the same people 2 weeks prior to asking them for that big billboard, and they asked them for a very, very small thing. They asked them to take a 3-inch sign and place that somewhere, and that 3-inch sign was saying the same thing, but it was just to get them to comply to something that, of course, majority of people said yes, because it's just not asking a lot. It's just a small little sign, it's not a big deal, and most people said yes. But just the fact that they've invested a little bit in that identity, in that self-image of themselves as people who care about driving safety and people who are part of these initiatives, that's kind of an identity, people were more likely to say yes by a big, big percentage to that second huge, huge request. And we can see this happen all the time in our lives. We can see how we ourselves and other people are much more likely to stick with the same identity, same beliefs, same attitude, same decision, same brands. A lot of people will stick to the same damn brand, even though it offers a lot less features, it's a lot more expensive, but because they've just stuck with that brand for a while, they will not change. Similarly, people stick with a nutrition approach that they paid a little bit of money for. They buy a $19 product, and then they stick with that for months and months, even though it doesn't work, even though it's a horrible approach for them, they still keep doing that. And we stick with things that are horrible for us, even though we have options. We don't even see those options sometimes, because our brain, and in psychology, they analyze this and they've noticed that we like to conserve energy. Simple fact, making decisions and analyzing all the elements, all the pros and cons, takes energy, takes time, takes effort. And our brain doesn't want to do that. Our brain wants to conserve energy, and when it does that, basically it just applies, okay, that worked in the past, we can use that again. It doesn't matter if something is better. Let's just play it safe. Let's just go with this because the decision is almost automatic. If you're constantly shopping in one place, you will go to that place even though it might not be the best place. You will still be doing that because it saves you that decision-making thing that you have to invest more energy to figure that out. Similarly with the diet, even though it sucks, it still gives you that feeling that you're doing something even though it doesn't work, right? And this is a very interesting way how our brains work, and it doesn't allow us to move forward a lot of times, and it just gives us these suboptimal decisions, and we don't even know that this is happening. So how can we use this approach and this experiment to live a healthier lifestyle? What does that mean for us now? What can we apply from this? Well, start small, right? There's two parts of this. One, it's start really, really small and start building those compliances, those little commitments that you can then double down on and turn into huge commitments in the future. Because if you invest a yes into just eating one piece of fruit, going to the gym for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you're doing 5 push-ups, doing practically anything, in investing in that identity, it's going to make it much more likely that you're going to invest in that identity in the future. So you're basically not looking at that one decision and the impact of that, but you're looking at how that influences the future decisions as well. It's a very, very powerful thing that a lot of salespeople use all the time. They get you to fill out a little survey, they get you to say yes to something, and then they use that for persuading you to buy a huge thing. Guys, start asking you, well, what kind of car would you like? What kind of car are you driving right now? And if you engage in that conversation, then they eventually try to sell you a new car, right? A lot of salespeople use this. This is called the foot in the door technique. If you get one foot in the door, it's a lot easier to follow up and just get into the house, right? It's a very, very powerful technique. And we personally aren't really aware of how much this plays a role in our lives, because we sometimes invest and give those yeses and those small decisions into an unhealthy lifestyle. And that's what majority of people do. You go to pick up a hamburger, you don't know what impact that has. You don't realize, and we often forget, that makes us more likely to get that hamburger the next day. That makes you more likely to make that poor decision for your health the next day. Even though that one hamburger, of course you can fit it in a flexible dieting approach, 80-20, hit your macros, manage all of that. But let's say you're an average Joe who's not really aware of that, and now you're looking how to improve your health, how to live a healthier lifestyle. Most people aren't aware of how much that impact that one little decision makes, because it spirals now and it creates an investment in that unhealthy lifestyle identity, right? And that's a very, very important factor that we are often not aware of. And this is something that once you start thinking this way, you will see, well, I can just start investing in the right things, and that will become more automatic, because your brain likes to become kind of an energy conserving mechanism. So it will like that if you maintain that healthy lifestyle and make it a default choice, it's gonna try to conserve that approach now, because that's going to require less energy than to go back to an unhealthy lifestyle, not just go back and making those other decisions and figure out which kind of junk food you're going to eat and things like that. No, it's going to go for the healthy choice now, because that is the choice that requires less effort. That is the choice that requires less energy. So that's how you can automate healthy habits, by simply investing more in that area of your life, and that's how you make that work for you. Additionally, what you can do is also, once you start building those small commitments, try to scale that. Try to make it a bigger commitment. Try to invest even further, because the more effort you invest in a thing, the more you're likely to repeat that effort in the future. And that's one thing how we can use these persuasion techniques on ourselves. We don't need to use this for someone else. We can use this to influence ourselves, our own lives, and make our own lives better and make our own decisions more automated and more healthy. So hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know how this resonated with you guys. The book will be linked in the description below, same as the study, for you guys that want to read more, that want to learn more about this. It's a very, very powerful concept, as well as other concepts presented in the book Influence by Robert Cialdini. Amazing, amazing book that you should definitely check out. If you love reading like myself, it's one of my favorite books. Definitely check that out. Aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed and resonated with this content. It's a little bit of a longer video, a little bit more philosophical, habits, lifestyle. Hope you resonated. Let me know if you find this helpful in the comments below. Aside from that, make sure that subscribe button, as always, support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.